They say Saudi Arabia was born in 1932, but the truth is far older and far deeper. This is not just the land of oil and pilgrimage. It's a realm where civilizations emerged from sand, where poetry wielded greater authority than law, where empires faltered in conquest, and where faith irrevocably altered the course of history. You've seen the headlines. Now, witness the story beneath. This is the authentic history of Saudi Arabia, from myth to modernity. Long before Islam reshaped Arabia, this expansive desert harbored some of the most ancient and mysterious cultures of the ancient world. Archaeological discoveries reveal human presence in Arabia dating back over 100,000 years, from Paleolithic tools unearthed in the Nefud Desert to ancient burial mounds in the eastern provinces. By the first millennium BCE, advanced societies had taken root. The kingdom of Dilmun, likely centered in today's eastern Arabia and Bahrain, became a vital trade hub between Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley. In the southwest, the Sabaean civilization thrived in what is now Yemen, known for its monumental architecture and mastery of irrigation. Their crowning achievement was the Marib Dam, which sustained agriculture for over 1,000 years. Farther north, the Nabateans, famous for the rock-carved city of Petra, controlled desert trade routes stretching deep into the Arabian Peninsula. Arabia became a conduit for incense, spices, silk, and gold, connecting the ancient world from India to Rome. Yet most of the peninsula remained outside the reach of empires. Life here was governed by tribal loyalty, oral traditions, and codes of honor. Poetry served as record, law, and social currency. Persia and Rome tried to extend their influence, but the desert resisted all domination. Arabia remained untamed, a land of nomads, mystics, and merchants. Then came the 7th century, and with it, a transformation that would echo for millennia. In 610 CE, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, a merchant from the Quraysh tribe in Mecca, received what he believed to be revelations from God through the angel Jibril, known to Christians and Jews as Gabriel. These revelations, later compiled into the Quran, called for monotheism, justice, and a radical reordering of society. In a world fractured by tribal feuds and rigid hierarchies, Islam was revolutionary. It declared all believers equal before God, urged care for the poor, and condemned idolatry and exploitation. At first, the message met fierce resistance in Mecca. But after years of persecution, Muhammad and his followers migrated to Yathrib, soon renamed Medina, in 622 CE, an event known as the Hijra, marking the beginning of the Islamic calendar. Over the next decade, Muhammad united Arabia through diplomacy, warfare, and alliances. Upon his death in 632 CE, nearly all of the peninsula had embraced Islam. What followed was astonishing. Under the leadership of the Rashidun caliphs, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, Arab armies surged outward, forming an empire that stretched from the Atlantic to the Himalayas in less than a century. And yet, while Islam spread far beyond, Mecca and Medina remained its spiritual core. The Hajj pilgrimage turned Mecca into a nexus of global faith, linking the farthest corners of the Islamic world. Arabia, once isolated, became sacred. But paradoxically, the Arabian interior returned to tribal fragmentation. For over a millennium, the peninsula remained decentralized. The powerful Umayyad and Abbasid caliphates were centered in Damascus and Baghdad, not Mecca. In later centuries, the region came under loose control of the Ottoman Empire, which governed the Hejaz, but paid little attention to the deserts of Najd and beyond. Local tribes ruled themselves. Religious scholars became power brokers. And out of this vacuum, a new force would rise. In the mid-18th century, in the region of Diriyah, near modern-day Riyadh, a preacher named Muhammad ibn Abd al-Wahhab called for a return to what he viewed as the pure, unadulterated Islam of the Prophet's time. He condemned the veneration of saints, tombs, and other practices he saw as innovations or shirk, polytheism. His message resonated with a tribal leader named Muhammad ibn Saud. Their alliance of theology and power would become the foundation of the modern Saudi state. Over the next century, the Al Saud family expanded and contracted several times, facing Ottoman opposition and internal revolts, until finally, in the aftermath of World War I, they seized their moment. In 1932, Abdulaziz ibn Saud proclaimed the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia after unifying disparate regions through tribal warfare, diplomacy, and British support. The country was poor, rural, and sparsely populated. But in 1938, everything changed. American geologists from Standard Oil struck oil in Dammam. The desert, once dismissed as barren, became one of the most strategically important regions on Earth. Over the following decades, oil wealth transformed Saudi Arabia. Riyadh grew from a mud brick town into a sprawling metropolis. Roads, universities, hospitals, and cities rose from the sands. But this modernization came with contradictions. The state, eager to develop, remained bound by a strict religious establishment. The country's identity balanced two forces: as a close ally to the West, especially the United States, and as guardian of Islam's holiest sites. This duality defined the kingdom throughout the Cold War and into the 21st century. There were challenges. In 1979, extremists seized the Grand Mosque in Mecca, claiming the government had strayed from Islamic values. It took 2 weeks and hundreds of casualties to end the siege. The shock reverberated across the Muslim world. In response, the government gave more authority to religious conservatives, ushering in decades of stricter social norms. But Saudi Arabia was not immune to global pressures. After the 9/11 attacks, in which 15 of the 19 hijackers were Saudi nationals, the kingdom faced intense scrutiny. Calls for reform grew louder, both internally and from abroad. The ruling elite faced a dilemma: how to modernize without unraveling tradition. Yet, beyond the oil politics and royal intrigue lies a richer, lesser-known Saudi Arabia. In the green highlands of Asir, ancient terrace farms still yield wheat and coffee. In Najd, oral poetry is still recited in evening gatherings over gahwa, cardamom-spiced Arabic coffee. The cuisine, from the fragrant kabsa to the thick haris, reflects a blend of Bedouin tradition and trade influences from India, East Africa, and Persia. And everywhere, the rhythm of modern life pulses beside ancestral memory. Today, the kingdom stands at a crossroads unlike any in its history. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS, has launched Vision 2030, an ambitious plan to diversify the economy, reduce oil dependence, and open Saudi Arabia to the world. Women now drive, travel without male guardians, and enter professions once closed to them. Cinemas, long band, are open again. Music festivals, once unthinkable, now draw thousands. Tourism is growing. The ancient city of Al-Ula is being transformed into a cultural destination. But perhaps the boldest vision lies in the Northwest. NEOM, a planned $500 billion smart city stretching across desert, mountains, and coast, promising AI-powered infrastructure, zero-carbon living, and a post-oil future. Yet questions remain. Can a kingdom founded on tribal loyalty and religious revival become a global tech and tourism hub? Can reforms outpace resistance? Can tradition evolve without fracture? These are not just Saudi Arabia's questions, they are the questions of our time. Thank you for embarking on this journey into the depths of Saudi Arabia's history and culture. If this exploration enriched your perspective, kindly subscribe for more insightful narratives beyond the surface. Feel free to share with those who appreciate uncovering the layers of our world. Your engagement fuels these stories